Won't move your patrol car to let the ambulance out? I'll let your sergeant deal with you. This happened around 4th of July. There was a small fender bender and emergency services get called out. My towing company sends me out by accident, not realizing the flatbed at the scene could tow both vehicles. There was 1 ambulance and 5 police cruisers, 3 cruisers blocking the road, 1 directing traffic, and then the a-hole who showed up after the scene was secured. A-hole felt the need to park his cruiser crossway diagonally in front of the ambulance, not necessarily blocking the path, but if anyone has driven an ambulance, they were a pain to reverse around obstacles. The EMTs asked the a-hole to move his cruiser, and he literally said, "When I'm ready," and resumes chatting with the cop directing traffic. Another cruiser shows up, and it's a sergeant who knew me and the company I work for. He goes off to deal with the scene, and the EMTs rush to him to talk about moving the cruiser. I see him stomping in my direction, and then he walks to the cruiser, and the door was locked. He called for the cop that pulled in front, and he either didn't respond, ignore, or wasn't aware his superior was there. He looked pissed. He reached for the radio, but then he looked at me and asked what my drop fee was. 5 minutes go by, and he waves me to get the cruiser. So I line up and sting it, and dragged it out of the way, and the ambulance drivers waved and left the area. He told me to keep the cruiser hooked because he wanted to teach the a-hole a lesson. He walked over to the cop directing traffic and a-hole and alerted him that he was getting towed. He rushed back and demanded I put the car down and that it's not a funny joke, but I reminded him that all tows are fair in the county if the car's parked illegally. He looked at the sergeant, and the sergeant reminded him that the ordinance extends to emergency vehicles. Had to look this up. It's not. He tried to negotiate to 40, but my drop fee is 100. He hesitates, but he pulls 520s from his wallet, and I put his cruiser down. He got in his cruiser and didn't look too happy as he pulled away. The sergeant busts out laughing and said that kid needed that. He told me he's only been on the force less than a few weeks, and that he was acting like he ran the place as if he was the sergeant. We shook hands, talked about work and Hot Wheels, and off I went, $100 richer.